David Haywood said, do you really believe deep down that you made the choice to live the life you're living, or did it choose you? And how do you rationalize choice when there is so much we don't get to choose?
Well, that's a good question. I have chosen very consciously what I want for my life, and I continue to choose. I really believe that our Creator has given us choice. And those that, look at their life and say it's not the way they want it and blame God are barking up the wrong tree. The resources are inside of us. That's number one. But I'd say number two, this idea that, rationalizing choice, I don't rationalize choice. I know it's one of the great gifts in my life, and I can make it any moment. So can you. The one power we have is the decision to change anything. You don't like your relationship, change it. Change you first, or change it. Right. You don't like your body, change it. You don't like your finances, any one of us can change it. We live in a world that's filled with answers. You got a web where you can learn from anybody on the planet now. You got access to them, So I don't see it as like rationalizing choice. I think that mindset reveals limitations in the person asking the question. I'm not being derogatory to that person. Sure. I'm grateful for the question, but I want you to know, if you're listening, that, if I asked all those watching, we all have patterns, and I'm a student of patterns. The way I can make changes in minutes for people that were stuck for years, or athletes I've turned around and developed a great amount of fame around, and the Quincy Joneses of the world, the Pit Bulls, the Serena Williams, the things that I've done with all these people they rave about are because I know that whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. So I'll just give you one example for the person who asked this question, and for anybody listening.
Yeah.
I'll give you 3 patterns real fast so you can check yourself out for a moment. So one pattern is of focus. Do you tend to focus more on what you have or what's missing? I'm asking your listeners right now, and you, what do you tend to focus on? What you have or what's missing?
What I have.
What you have, great. When I ask this in a room, usually about 70% are focused on what's missing. Most achievers are focused on what's missing so they can go out and achieve more, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But when you stack these patterns together, it's really hard to be happy when you're constantly focused on what's missing. There's a time when what's missing, so you go to work, but if you do it all the time, you can be achieving a ton, like some of these billionaires, and they're still noticing what's missing, and so they're not happy. Another pattern would be, do you tend to focus on what you can control or what you can't control?
For me, can.
Yeah, and I know that's true with you.
Yeah.
The majority of people is what they can't control. Right. Now, if you focus on what's missing all the time and what you can't control, you're going to be depressed. I don't care if you take Prozac or Zoloft or anything else. Your depression is not a Zoloft deficiency. It is the fact that you were doing something in your mind that is producing that depression. And if you constantly focus on what's missing and what you can't control, and let's add a third one, do you tend to focus more on things in the past, the present, or the future? I know you do all 3. We all do all 3, but which one for you would you say you spend more of your time on? Past, present, or future?
Well, my old self would say the past and the future. Now, after going to One World Academy, I'm very present and future.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, there's no right or wrong, but the past, you can't do anything about it. So the more you focus there, unless you're learning something from it, it's pretty much a waste. The present is where the joy is. The future is how you do business, right? So you anticipate. So it's the ability to do this. But if you have someone whose pattern is focus on what's missing, focus on what I can't control, focus on the past, you can give them, I've seen it, and I've dealt with people like that who are suicidal. I come in, they've got every drug, they're taking every antidepressant, and they're still depressed. In fact, I'll ask in audiences all the time, how many of you know somebody who takes antidepressants and is still depressed? 90% of the room will raise their hand.
I know people.
You know people? I'm sure the people at home do. Well, why are they still depressed if they're taking antidepressant? Because all the antidepressant does is numb you. But they're still focusing what's missing. They're still focused on what they can't control. They're still focused on past or present that's not the way they want it to be, or making up a future that's scary.